Right, guys, welcome to Mouthpiece. It's a pleasure to have you on. Today we have Sam Jones and we have Florian Marku. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for joining us. It's time, I guess. This is what we do on Mouthpiece. We want to talk about what you've had to go through and what you've been through to get to where you are now. So I know you've both got very, very interesting stories. Sam, will probably come to you first. You know, like you say it all the time. You're just a lad from Derby, and now you're one of the most successful, one of the most spoken about boxing managers.
The only
in
one.
English,
The only
anyway.
one. What more is there to say?
Where do you want me to start?
At the beginning,
You know when boxing management came to you, it's not really, or before you and before the past few years, boxing management has always been off camera, behind the scenes. To you, when it flicked, a switch flicked in your head, I want to be in boxing. Was it always boxing management?
Just involved in boxing. I get all the time, oh, you're a great promoter. That's a compliment for me. I get called Primark Eddie Hearn. But it's fine. Primark's for the masses. So if I represent the masses, then great. But like that's where I've so that's why I kind of embrace it when people say I'm a promoter, because I think I can do it's a bit of both. So we made me and my business partner made a conscious decision when we started our company, because he managed David Hay for 5 years and I brought Joe Joyce. So that's kind of where we formed. But we made like a conscious decision where we want to keep our stable, like a boutique stable, keep it very small so we can look after big stars such as Florian and give them the special attention that they need.
You started on the auctions, is that right?
I started in a factory doing night shifts. I've done all kinds of stuff.
You've done everything.
I've done a bit of everything.
And was it the auctions? You know, obviously you're up there, you're having to speak. Is that even when you were doing it in those days, was boxing always on your mind?
Prince Naseem Hamed, it was my hero. So I grew up watching the Prince, and that's what I used to sit in. I used to sit in my living room, with leopard print shorts that my mum had made me freezing cold, and with a pair of green gloves on. I used to sit there and watch him religiously. He's my hero. Is the reason why I love boxing. So everything about boxing, it all stemmed from coming to watch Prince Naseem Hamed.
And so you mentioned you've done a lot of jobs.
Oh, everything, yeah.
And that's what since the age of 16.
17. So I went to college. I'll tell you a little funny story about college. I did an electronics, an MVQ in electrical engineering. Yeah. So one of the projects was we had to weld this thing. I didn't know anything about welding. I was just like going along with it. So when one of the kids in the class finished his project before anyone else, they put it in this little box, this little box, and with a key that locked it. So when the professor went out and everyone out, I took his out, welded my name over it, handed it to the professor, and passed the course. But that's
you got away with it.
Of course I got away with it, yeah. But it's improvisation, isn't it? So
it is.
So improvisation gets you a long way in life.
You found a way.
You find a way.
Still. Florian, you obviously had a different upbringing. Wasn't at car auctions. But what was your first introduction into boxing or into fighting?
Yes. Hello to everybody. First of all, my English is not very, very good, but I will explain it how better I can. Me, before, when I was 11 years old, I was a football. I like football like all kids, and I broke my leg, but I was always like, I was loving to fight with people in the streets, you know. And after that, I found a good gym in my city when I was living, because I born in Albania, but I grew up in Greece, in Thessaloniki, and there I started kickboxing at the beginning. I had many fights in kickboxing, 110 fights all. I win 106 of them. I lose only four times. I became 4-time world champion in kickboxing, and I grew up with this. Back then we didn't know about MMA because it was not famous and we didn't know what. Yeah. But with the time, UFC, all these things start growing up, and I say, I try MMA. And I start wrestling, I start going a little bit more to the MMA fighting, and I fight 7 times. I win 7 of them with knockout, all with stoppage. But in my last fight, I broke my finger, my big finger in the fight, and I had to do 2 operations, you know. And from that day, I was not the same. I couldn't grab how much I wanted, how tight. And I say I wanted to go back to kickboxing, but kickboxing was not so much popular back then. It was never very popular like boxing or like UFC. Now UFC and boxing, I think boxing is much more. And I say I start only boxing because my gym, my trainer that it was from Greece, his background it was only a boxing. He was the best team 8 years in a row in all Greece in amateur boxing. He is a very good, and I say, and that's how I end at the boxing ring.
And the thing is, I was in Athens not that long ago, and I remember like obviously you go around, you see the Colosseums, that it's just a big, it's full of gods and Trojans and just giants.
They have big history,
but I never associated it with boxing for some reason.
No,
I feel like there's not been like many boxers to come out of Greece.
True. Me, because I forget to mention about when I was 12 years old, I wanted to start like a boxer. But back then, that didn't have a... Greece, it was not so famous about boxing. And the professional boxing started in Greece, I think, have 3 years. They doesn't promote it a lot. Kickboxing is more famous in Greece or the MMA. And that's why you are saying,
Was fighting the only answer growing up? Was it a tough childhood growing up? Was it almost like for you to have a better life, it had to be through sport or entertainment or to do something crazy? Was that always the only possibility?
For me, boxing, it was my life. You know, I grew up with only that. I have never worked in my life. My only work that I have done is beating people up in the ring, you know, and training hard for that. And this is my life. Thanks God, my family, they never let me to don't have money to go to work, because most of people doesn't have money, go work, go training. Me, I was only focused 100% to the training and to the fights, and it was easy, and I was loving it, you know.
Because Albania is a tough place to come from, especially 25 years ago. I mean, you obviously got to Greece. A lot of people try and get away from Albania. Was that? Do you remember that time? And were your parents into fighting at that time? How did that happen?
Yes, I go with my family in Greece. I think 98. I have born in 92, and we go back then. The government break down in Albania, and all the guns, the army. You know, we didn't have a government at all. And it was very dangerous. Me and my family, my father decided that better we go in Greece because we are borders. Albania and Greece, we are borders, and we go in Greece. And me, I grow up in Greece. You know, me, as my home, I know Greece. Of course, I'm proud that I am Albanian. I have Albanian blood, everything that I am Albanian. But I grow up, school, everything. And my family is still there in Greece. But it was, of course, it was hard. No language, nothing. But we start from the beginning, and yes,
it's cool. I mean, a lot of this podcast when we started it was we were trying to speak to high-profile boxers that were involved in, people in the boxing game that were involved in, and almost everyone's got a story as why they got into boxing, and usually it's from failure. Usually it's from searching for what means something to them. I think both of you have been through periods in your life that have forged the sort of mentality needed to be in boxing. I think even as a fighter, even in Sam's position, you need something because it's a tough business.
Very.
And I think it's interesting to hear both of you talk about growing up in your childhoods
I think
everything.
To be a boxer is easy thing. To be a champion you cannot be normal like the others. To be somebody different, because your mentality must be different. I think you must be a little bit crazy to be a champion of the world. You cannot be like like the other people, that because you are like robot. Sleep, train years. I have 16 years that I'm doing that, and I am never bored because this is my life and my biggest dream. And I think we will.
I've always said that as well. I've said I remember saying some people won't beat other people because they're not crazy enough.
True,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
just sometimes you need to be somebody who's just willing to just do whatever.
It's the fact that I've spent a lot of time with a lot of champions. Jorge Linares, for one. We live with him in the same house. He's possessed.
Yeah.
He's possessed.
Even from a mentality
and you look at how he behaves and how he is, how he makes weight, how he sleeps, how he conducts himself. Everything is just perfect. Golovkin, another one in Big Bear. There's no other way to describe him other than just an animal.
Yeah.
Like he does the sit-ups he does, 300 sit-ups like in 4 times a day. Won't leave the gym until they're completed.
That mentality is crazy.
The runs that he does, and bear in mind he was 35 at the time. He was always in front of all the younger guys. They used to look at him like that. So that's you've got to go the extra mile.
Yeah.
That's if you want to do anything like that. But especially as a fighter, from what I've seen, like it's incredible to watch. And as a fighter, you either have it or you don't.
Yeah. Even as a manager, I feel like the better you are at almost self-promoting and going the extra mile, you'll have more success. You've named obviously some big names there. There aren't many names bigger than Floyd Mayweather, and you managed to put your first deal as a boxing manager was with Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
How does that even happen?
It's a crazy story because I was looking to get involved in boxing because I was always around big Peter Fury helped me massively, Tyson's uncle.
Yeah.
So I was always around them. So I always knew Tyson Fury. I was good friends with them and that family. But Savannah Marshall. So me and Savannah, we got into contact and I said, look, so I had to do everything I can so I wanted to do something out the ordinary for her. Yeah. So I got in contact with one of Floyd's best friends. His name was Deshaun Wayne. He was in the film All Eyes on Me. He directed.
Do you know what? I may as well just confess it now. There is a canvas of Floyd Mayweather above my bed. That is my hero. That is my.
Oh yeah, and mine.
And
mine. So I was still more starstruck when I met Prince Naseem Hamed though. Seriously, and I was in Floyd's hotel room when he was on tour for the Conor McGregor fight. We was just eating Nando's in his room like it was, and I was okay. But when I met Naseem Hamed, I was climbing over seats to get him. Because I thought I'd never seen this guy before, and I was climbing over seats, but we'll get to that point. So with the deal with that, I got in contact with Deshaun Wayne, so who helped produce the film All Eyes on Me, the Tupac film. Yeah. So I became really good friends with him. He put me in contact with Floyd's guy. So when Floyd came over for the Liam Walsh Gervonta Davis fight, I don't know if you remember, that was a long time ago. I don't know what hotel it might have been, the Stewart Hotel. I had 5 minutes with Floyd, about 3 minutes. So imagine I had to pitch Savannah to Floyd in 3 minutes. Auctioneering, 15, 75, 8 quid an hour.
How did you know you had 3 minutes?
Because I knew it hasn't long, because I looked at his attention span.
Okay.
And the first thing he said was, you need a new watch. So can you imagine, that threw me off as it is. Got a new one now. But no, I pitched it to him, and he said, yeah, I like the sound of that, because I told him about got me in with Leonard Ellaby, went for dinner with Leonard Ellaby that same day. And then after that, Floyd rang me about a few days after the fight. He went back to America, FaceTimed me at 2:00 in the morning, and I've still got the screenshot.
Of course you do.
I've still got the screenshot. So I was like, can you imagine that? It's like trying to do all that to screenshot. But yeah, it's a mad story, and then that's how it all started, and that's where I got my name from. And then my first signing in boxing, which is the reason why I say I've got a lot of love for Joe. When people say he's because without Joe, it won't happen. But I believe he's made the right decision. He's fighting the huge fight for huge money against Daniel Dubois. But like, he still took a chance on me. Do you know what I mean? So like, I did that, got my name out there. My first signing was Joe Joyce for my, and then I formed my company with Adam Morley, who is, believe me, is the backbone of my company. So you can't do everything by yourself. Yeah. And yeah, that's just it. We've just gone from strength to strength from there. But yeah, I was in Floyd's gym. When he was training for Conor McGregor at 2:00 in the morning, we was all there because when he trains, they all congregate in the gym. There's so many people coming into the gym. Adrian Broner staggered in there. It was just crazy. It was crazy. And obviously since then, I know Adrian Broner like quite well. Like he paid for my haircut for me in Los Angeles when Mikey Garcia fought his mate Robert Easter Jr. So like we've stayed. That, right? So yeah, I've got like a good connection in America, and like I've met some amazing people. But it's a decent story, but it's led me to being able to sign people like Florian.
It's more than a decent story.
Yeah.
It's one of the best ones you'll ever hear.
Yeah, it's good, but you still have to, if you get to a certain level, you can't switch off. And I don't switch off, which is the reason why I don't sleep.
So-
I barely sleep. I've got to live like a badger.
You've mentioned that your company's, it's like a boutique shop.
Yeah.
You only pick particular fighters. You only not pick particular fighters, but
Yeah.
you obviously have to turn away some fighters.
Yeah, which is sad.
What made you have to take notice of Florian?
Honestly, it's just one of the most special individuals ever. And he also, can I swear, scares the shit out of me as well. Facts. He's special.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
special. He's special. And you know he's special by the way he trains, the way he lives his life, everything. He messages me more than any other fighter, more than Joe, and that is a record, believe me. And he outdoes him because he just wants to fight. That's all he wants. He wants to become a champion. So how can you not be attracted to something like that as a person?
You completely buzz off your fighters, don't you?
Of
And
course.
is that what gives you the sort of the inspiration day to day?
Seeing them win is, I promise, is the or succeed or getting a good fight purse, which is eventually what he'll get. He's gonna. Their dream with Florian is New York, yeah, because the Albanian contingency there is huge.
Yeah.
So New York and world title fight in Albania in the national stadium. That's the dream. That's why I'm here. Otherwise, I wouldn't have signed him.
Yeah.
And we know we can make that happen. We just need to get him to a position where, because people don't want to fight him. People don't want to fight him.
Yeah.
And the people that do want to fight him just want to fight him because they want to get off the back of his
fan base is crazy.
His fan base is crazy. But you've only seen parts of it.
Yeah.
If he's in a meaningful fight if the Conor Ben fight came into fruition, I'm telling you now, the O2 will be sold out twice over.
Yeah.
And they'd be outside as well, swinging on the door handles, trying to get in.
It's worth mentioning though, because some people watching it will not know who Florian is, but in Europe, he's absolutely massive.
We put him on in 6 rounders on all my boxer shows, and it's been absolutely nuts the amount of people that come
Altrincham
down.
Altrincham
was half an hour outside the city of Manchester.
That's what I mean. So in Altrincham, so
I will tell you one story because they are talking about crowds. When I fight my first fight in London, in York Hall. I didn't know that so many Albanians will come. It was full, like many Albanians was outside, and my fight was coming. I was warming up, and I had 30 minutes to go to the fight, and the organizer come to me running at the dressing room. He said, "Florian, please make a post on your Instagram because the Albanian, they will broke everything." I say, "Why?" They say, "Because they are outside still and they cannot come." Yeah, but tell them that I will not fight if all that, because they was making a little bit late the entrance, because it was only 2 people at the door. And oh my God, I say, okay, don't worry. They were scared, like Albanians, they will start.
Not meaning to sidestep it, but obviously we're now in a situation where there are no crowds.
Mm-hmm.
It affects some fighters different to others. What do you think that will be like for you?
I don't care, to tell you the truth. I swear, I want only to beat the best, to beat the top names that have England, and I hope then for sure for a world title. That is my dream, to take my world title from here in UK and then to defend it back home in Albania in a football stadium. Yeah. This is my dream, and I think everyone that gives his life to his dream, to boxing, this is what he wants, a world title, and I will take it for sure, 100%. Nothing can stop me. If he's a man that walk in two legs like me, cannot stop me.
100%.
How hard has it been to sort of make that transition from kickboxing? Because obviously, a lot of the fighters you're coming up against have had fucking 25 amateur fights at least, then they're going in 15, 20-0. How hard has that been for you? Because it is a different discipline.
Yeah, is a little bit different, but with the time I'm improving, and you can ask my sparring partners. I've sparred with the top guys that here are one of them. It was the
O'Hara Davis, Luke Campbell.
O'Hara, Luke Campbell, and you can ask them how I listen. I have tell also to some, because we had some good fights, but they didn't accept. I can fight whoever is the best here in UK right now, if they put him, but they will not risk their record with me, because my record right now is 6-0. Of course, they will not give their 20, 16-0,
and there's no crowds as well.
And no crowds at all. But when the crowd is back and my record is a little bit bigger, they will not have where to go. They must accept the fight.
So you're one of the fighters, I'd say, that are in a position that you know you're good enough to beat these guys.
100%.
But because they also know that, they'll
Exactly.
do everything they can to avoid you. But it means that I guess you have to just keep grinding, getting mandatory positions, and
It was one offer that Sam and Adam, my manager, made me, and they told me one name, but I have sparred with this guy, you know, and I say, listen, Sam, she had like 12-0 record.
I said he'd
She
pull out.
she win a title, and I say, listen, Sam, nobody of this guy that I sparred, he will never fight me. He say, no, don't worry, he will fight you. I say, okay, close the fight, please. And I say, yes, we fight him. She called me after 3 hours. He say, bro, this guy pull up. He will not.
3 hours.
3 hours after.
3 hours, yeah.
She say,
That's boxing.
I knew it.
Do you know what? It's crazy because a lot of people say, you know, anyone who's willing to get in the ring is, you know, all that they're willing to fight anyone, but it's not the case. It's simply it's
Not in
the
boxing,
case.
not in
It's
boxing.
not.
It's a business. It's what
is.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And like Florian has got stuff to offer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not many people in the UK.
That is important,
There's
yeah.
not many people in the UK that can say, get him a title fight, any title fight, interim title fight, WBA, whatever
Yeah.
you want to, whatever McDonald's championship. It doesn't matter. He will sell out the O2 Arena, not the Indigo, the
Yeah.
big one, the big bowl. And he just needs a meaningful fight.
And
The Conor Ben fight's is the one we want. And whether Conor loses his next fight or not, that fight's still huge because his fans want to see it.
Yeah.
No, not many fighters can sell tickets. Like it's crazy that I mean, Sam will have
And
seen
this
it.
is
There's
the
world
beginning.
champions that can't sell.
Many-
tickets.
I know plenty of fighters that they don't get opportunities as well if they don't sell tickets. But it's to say we're very fortunate with Florian. I think he's going to perform better without a crowd there anyway. Because you know I said Altrincham, we appeared there, and I said to Florian, I was like, Florian, there's going to be no people come to watch you here. They can't. It's Altrincham. I've never been to Altrincham in my life. Do you know what I mean? I've never.
Getting you there was tough.
The Albanians, the Albanians were like, they just piled in. It was unbelievable. Like, just even I think I don't know how many
It
were
was
there.
crazy.
It was
It
just
was
crazy.
crazy.
The noise that they were making. That and they come. God, imagine if he fights in New York in the Hulu in New York, he'd fill the whole thing up.
Has that taken you a while to build that fan base? Is it an Albanian thing? Is it that you all stick together? Like, where's it come from over so many years? Is it through kickboxing?
This is yes, because this I wanted. I have made big fights, you know, that have big. They matter a lot for the Albanians. In Greece, I beat all the Greek champions that was with the years. You know, I was unbeaten in Greece. My last loss, it was before 11 years when I was 16 years old. You know, and I beat everyone there and the Albanians because when I was in Greece, before I start to grow like a famous guy, you know, to say it because I don't like to say it like this, but they didn't allow us to put our Albanian flag. No fighter. Yes, some promoters they didn't want us to put and I was the only fighter that I didn't care. I said, no, I'm Albanian. I don't put your flag. You know, of course I respect because my trainer and now I take him from Greece. He's from Greece, but I'm Albanian. I cannot be Greek because the Greek people will never see me like a Greek because I'm Albanian. You know, and I start growing up, and the Albanians was proud with me, and like this it grow. After I go in Austria, I live 2 years. I win 2 world titles there, and like this, I grow with the fan base. I have sold out a stadium that it was with 8,000 people. 6,000 was only my crowd for one world title that I had, and like this we grew up. But the good thing with Albanians and the crowd that you ask me is that many guys that they live in UK, they are patriots. You know, like they love their country. Many of them. They doesn't have the chance to go back home. They have like many years they didn't go, and they love when they see me to take the flag in the television and say, oh, this is our guy. And many of them now that they have learned that I live in London and I fight in London because they didn't know it. They knew it and they came. Now it'll be bigger when the crowd is back, of course.
Do you feel like that's where a lot of your confidence comes from, knowing that you've got such a big following?
No.
And also the fact that you just haven't lost for like over a decade, that would probably help.
My confidence, you know where it comes from. My confidence comes because I know I sacrifice everything in the ring. I'm willing to die, I swear, to win inside there. And I know somebody doesn't go to the limit. I go to the limit because this is my dream. I don't have nothing else to do. if I don't succeed in this part of my life.
It's true, working that hard, that must give everyone so much confidence. I mean, that's what Sam will probably say the same thing, but the harder you work, the more confident you become, and that's just a simple fact of life. And I think that's why the best fighters are always the hardest working fighters.
Exactly.
A lot of people think he's a ticket seller as well. Like, I wouldn't have signed, I promise, I don't have time for it. Like, I wouldn't have signed him if he was just a ticket seller. If we're going to get him to a certain level and he gets beat by a muppet. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a fact. If we take him to a certain level, he can fight. He's a dangerous man. He's a dangerous man. Like, he's only getting better as well. And throughout his whole career in boxing, he's been boxing at half capacity as well for his left hand. I'm not just making excuses for him.
Exactly.
But you should have seen his scan. In fact, I'll show it you. I'll send you a picture of his scan. His hand was mangled. He shouldn't. The doctor said, I don't even know how you've been using it.
And before the fight, Sam and Adam, because they didn't know nothing, but I have injured. I had this hand like 1.5 years problem. But sometimes it was hurting me more, sometimes less. And before the fight, I had a good sparring with someone, and I hit it hard. And I couldn't make pads so bad, but I didn't want to say no to nobody because Albanian TV was showing the fight back home, the BT Sport, and I say how I can, because I know if Sam and Adam knew that my right hand had problem, they will not let me fight. I say I don't say nothing.
Nathan Benden, watch the fight.
Yes, if
jab,
you see the
left
fight,
hook, jab, left hook. Watch the whole fight.
But you're southpaw, right?
No,
I
am not. But they doesn't know what I am because I
Boxer
changed.
doesn't know what you are either.
He had to be southpaw against Nathan Benden, and he had to be a southpaw against him.
I changed.
But I said to Adam when the fight was on, I was like, "Why is he doing that?" And then after that fight, I knew he was injured, and he was poorly as well.
Yeah,
he was ill afterwards. The coach said, "Oh yeah, he was ill afterwards."
I didn't want to say nothing.
Try and strangle him
because I see the fight. The fight is like we say in the street. Somebody come to rob you. You know what you will do. You cannot say to him, I'm tired. We do this after. No, man. You must give your 100. What you have. Your hand. You must fight.
If you listen to it, you were there, weren't you?
Yeah, was that your first fight together?
With Florian, yeah. But in the changing room, he was listening to war music. Not
that are my favorite music.
Like the sound of people getting annihilated.
Artillery and all that. Like.
Yeah, so I walked in there and
I love this. I
walked in and I just went, he's nuts.
I thought it was going to be Albanian rap because Albania's got a big rap scene. Like
he knows
Noisy.
Yeah, I have a good friend, Noisy. If you
I do,
he makes some good songs with this guy Dochave.
Yeah.
Noisy is a good friend of mine, and he asked me because he want to go together in this fight now that we fight in 10 November in the ring, because Noisy have been with me 3-4 times entrance, together. Yeah. I know many guys. The good thing with our Albanians are that we are all connected all over the world. The top guys. Yeah.
Imagine he has a big world title fight.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You better win.
Yeah, 100%.
Growing up for you, Sam, I feel like obviously what we get now is the kind of confident manager who knows he's built a boutique stable. He knows what he's got there. He's confident in it. But growing up, were you always this confident? Did you like travel? Did you always feel like you would just always land on your feet?
Because I was never amazing at school. I wasn't a divvy, but I was never amazing at school. And I just thought, do you know what? When I was working, it was one of the times I was working, and I remember I was starving at work, really hungry. And I had this guy, I won't mention his name because we don't want to do that to people on the radio. And he'd say, you need to hurry up, like you've got 5 minutes. Like, and I thought to myself, why am I living my life and some guy is giving me 5 minutes to swallow my food without chewing it? I want to I want to eat when I want to eat. So small things, like small things, rejection as well. Like I remember, I won't go into it, it's boring, but like I remember going for an internal position at work and it was meant to be nailed on. And I got all the way there and they went, you've not got the experience. Well, how the hell do you get experience being a manager? You become a manager and you learn on the job. That's the way the world works. Yeah. How do you gain experience? It's just, things. So then you take matters into your own hands. But boxing is something I've always been passionate about. I played football at a good level as well when I was younger, but I was past my prime at 16. It's a fact. It's a fact. I lost my pace at 16, so I thought, well, I can't do that. I tried boxing myself as well. I was useless at that, but I know how to look after myself.
Yeah.
I'm not a
He's a
that as
decent
well.
scrapper.
But we go and that's where you learn. You've got one life. Everyone's got the same 24 hours in a day, isn't it, to make something happen?
Is that where the confidence came from?
I don't know
Almost
where
like
you're getting all this confidence from.
No, but is that?
Well, we can feel it.
You can feel it. You're on. You told me you're the best boxing manager in the world.
Why
as
you
soon as
lying
you
for
came in.
camera?
No, so is it just getting used to failure and realizing that actually means nothing, and it doesn't do anything to you other than make you stronger? And did you just become comfortable with no's, comfortable with things going wrong? Because coming into boxing, you have to knock on 100 doors.
No, boxing, I was fortunate because I took the leap, and this is probably why it's rubbed people up the wrong way, because I started at a certain level. I started at a certain level. You've got some key people that have been in boxing, good people have been involved in boxing that haven't done what I've done in a small space of time. That's not. It's not my fault. You just have to kind of put. I could name them, but I don't want to do that because they've got more experience than me. They're great, but I'm doing it. Do you know what I mean? And there's nobody that can stop me. I'm in business with great people. But it's impossible.
No, I like that. I'm just interested in terms of where the mindset has come from, where it's been built from.
You just don't want to lose, do you? You know what? I'm not interested. I'm not interested in doing things half-hearted in anything in life. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Right. I've achieved some amazing things, but I want to see people. I want to see him win a world title. I want to see him pack a stadium out. Then I'll start to be satisfied. I'm at the beginning. I'm 30. I forget how old I am. 31 years old. I'm 32 in the. I don't want to be in boxing that long a time.
You're a baby in the sport.
No, but I don't want to be in boxing that long a time. I want to keep hair. I want to. Then I say that.
You'll never get.
You look at Bob Arum. You look at Robert Arum, 88 years old of him, just rolling about.
What I will say is the managing styles are different. I obviously haven't known you for long. But I can already see that you have a very close bond with your fighters. Probably part of the reason why you have just a select few at the moment.
Yeah.
How do you, not even how do you, but almost why do you? You know, a lot of people like to keep their manager-fighter relationship just as a manager-fighter, but you almost want to become
it's balls deep or nothing. It's facts. It's facts. I want to have a close relationship with all of them. Yeah. I don't want them to have to not speak to me. Like, I know if he's rang me, I need to ring him back straight away because you've got to ring them back, haven't you? Yeah. I know some people they can't get hold of their managers. They can't get. Listen, if I'm taking a percentage off him getting punched in the head, I've got to earn my money.
Yeah.
Do you understand this? It's not a normal sport. It's not like a football agent. They get paid ridiculous money. But what did he really do? What, broker a deal? I broker deals all day, every day. Yeah. But like they get punched in the face. So it's a different. It's a sport where everyone has to earn it. If you're promoting them, you have to promote them well. If you're managing them, you have to manage them well because it's if he earns, right, if he's going to go on to earn 7 figures, like I know he's going to do because he's got the fan base and he's got the talent to do it. If I'm taking a percentage of that, I want him to give it me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way.
How do you grow the company? I know it's easy to just say, oh, I get more, but as in the way that you manage your fighters. And you have such close relationships with them, how big can you go in terms of how many fighters can you have before it's just like, all right, that is it, that's my limit?
I don't know, we always said 10, but I don't know, 10, 12, like that. But it's just, we've got another guy that works with us, a young guy. We're trying to make him like what we are, like have that kind of, go and see them, go and spend. I probably haven't spent enough time with Florian this year, but again, it's the coronavirus situation. But like, I want to see him spar. I want to go. Like, it's good seeing him today. But this year's been a.
It's exciting for me to see Sam in the business as well because boxing's an old man's game from a business perspective.
Don't say that too loud. Why you won't be like neither.
Because
cut that bit.
No, because if you look at it, and no offense being caused here, but the Warrens and the Hearns are running it. They were running it in the 80s in the UK. You've got Top Rank over in the States. Al Heyman's in his 60s. I'm 26 years old, and I see someone like you. You're 31, and I think I know how hard it was to get into boxing for me. In terms of just the graft, you have to become used to it, and once you're used to it, I think there's a massive opportunity. And so for young guys like us, we got to be looking at the sport now and saying, how can we make it better? Because there's a lot of opportunity out there, and there's a lot of fighters that are desperate for it.
It's about making it fresh. Like there's a lot of. That's the reason why I don't believe I'm unanimously liked, because I've come in here and I've flipped it upside down. People have this.
You're doing it differently.
Yeah, doing it differently. But I've also got experience with me. You don't just have youth. You've got to have experience around your team, like around your setup with Boxer. You've got
John.
I didn't know if I could mention it, but like you've got John Wish, wonderful guy, great brain. I dealt with him when he was working for ITV when Richard Poxon put on the show with great guy. You need that element of experience. Like, without Adam Morley, I'd be nothing. Yeah. That's the truth. I would be good, but I wouldn't be great like what I'm aspiring to be, because I'm not there yet. Like,
very self-aware to know that.
100%. You've got to have. Someone's got to bring something to the team. Yeah. Someone's got to bring something to the team. But like, listen, I'm going to do whatever I want in this sport, because I'm in business with great people. I work very hard, and I don't accept second.
And you're willing to take risks. It says here your mantra is the Muhammad Ali quote. He was not courageous enough to take risks, will accomplish nothing in life.
That's a fact.
So
I said something else as well today. This is another thing. Don't worry about clearing your name all the time, because if you're the topic, if you're the topic of conversation, whether you're winning or losing, you're still the topic of conversation. You're doing something right. You have to fail to do good things anyway. You have to make mistakes.
You know what I admire about you, Sam, is that.
You better say this off camera as well.
It's because it's because you've come in from nowhere and you've got to have a thick skin in boxing to take shit. And to be fair, Sam, and that's why I was seeing you as when we've looked at it, us lads, we're in
I've umbrella guys like you, haven't I?
We see and we're thinking, fuck me. He's just saying what he wants when he wants, and he's getting shit, fine, but does he give a fuck? And I think that's so key in life and in business and in everything. You've got to know that you can't clear your name, as you say, every day. You can't. All you can do is do a good job for the people around you and for yourself.
As long as they think I'm doing a good job, and the people I'm in business with respect me, I don't give two long ones what people think about me. No. I don't.
I think it's an advantage.
I don't care.
I really do.
At the beginning, I used to think, why are these people like saying such nasty things about me? Like my mum would message me, like, I'm reading these YouTube comments. Why are they saying such hurtful things? I don't eat a big long one. I don't care. I mean, you've got to take a. To be fair, my comments are kind of evened out now. I get a lot of people, a lot of support, and I still get the.
You need to start reading them.
But I could sign Floyd Mayweather now, right? And someone would still call me a dickhead.
Yeah, of course.
It makes there's some guy in Scotland, I don't know what his name is, but like some irrelevant bald guy in Scotland that was talking about that speaks about me all the time. He literally does podcasts based on me. I promise I don't know his name. I still don't. And this guy was winding me like, why is he saying such horrible? But then, do you know what?
Good public.
Keep saying it in your little wherever you are from.
Boxing's unusual like that though. I was speaking to Jamie today about this, and boxing purists, they seem to have this way about them where they just want to slay everything. Yeah. They want to tell everyone why they can't do anything, and it's only the fighters that attract more than those boxing purists anyway that do well. And so boxing is unusual like
it's
that.
It's a strange sport. You go to the fights and all the fans think they can fight. It's just what we do. Like everyone thinks, I did a bit of boxing when I was younger. I can fight.
You've not been to a boxing match unless you see a scrap in row Z.
Exactly.
They think that it's easy, Everyone that didn't wear a glove, they say no. Why he doesn't?
Yeah. Everyone thinks that everyone's got their tactics. They're watching a fight and they're saying.
That's what I made a decision to spend time in camp. Like when Joe goes away, because Joe's fighting at a high level at the moment. I will same with him as well. I cook dinners. I make everything. Obviously, I train with them as well. I try and train with them. But I try, and you realise how hard it is to lose weight, to cut weight, and so that's just saying with Joe, like I spent time with Lerone Richards as well, like dedicated athlete. It's hard. It's a hard sport.
We spoke about that as well last week.
Taking punches in the head, and cutting weight. It's everything. Dieting. It's a lifestyle. People like say Florian. It's just as you heard what he said. He goes, he doesn't know anything else. Yeah. If you ask Florian to go and get a 9-to-5 job, he'd survive a minute. His job's to fight, and that's what he believes he's on this earth for, to win belts and to make his people proud of him.
Exactly.
Have you had any well, obviously we know you've had a leg injury, a hand injury. Does that affect the way you train? Is it still affecting you at all? Is it
No. Thanks God, everything now is completely good, and you will see in my next fight in 10th of November another fighter. You will see hopefully a beautiful knockout.
A beautiful knockout.
Not a southpaw in this fight.
Mm-hmm. Both. I like also southpaw. I like to change. Yes.
Who's your favorite fighter? Do you watch boxing? I know there's a lot
of course.
There's a lot of boxers that
don't.
And like Joe Joyce who watch boxing.
I like different styles. I can say I like more the old ones. Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah.
Rocky Marciano, Tyson. And Muhammad Ali, of course. The movement that Muhammad Ali had, and the eye, the reflexes. It was, yes. But from this, I don't see somebody really to say, oh, this guy.
It's strange you say that.
I think they are human. If you put me in front of them, I'll be the same and I will beat them.
I always have this conversation with my friends as well. I'd be like, I've got a friend who respects the past so much. And as far as he's concerned, no one from this era would beat anyone from that era.
Just glorified.
Yeah, he just loves that era of the Rocky Marcianos. He feel like they were too tough.
You can see
when you say stuff like Floyd Mayweather is the best fighter of all time, who I personally believe he is the best. I believe he's versatile. I believe he finds a way to win and he beats anybody, especially at 140 pounds. Yeah, Floyd Mayweather beating everybody in every era. I don't care what anybody says. That's my opinion. But when you say it, you see some of the old timers. They jump on it. They say, what are you talking about? Sugar Ray Robinson would beat the hell out of Floyd Mayweather. Sugar Ray Leonard he would knock Mayweather out in 2 rounds. He'd figure it out. It's about subjective. But when you have a young opinion, it's like now, if you tell an old timer in the pub down the road over there, Lionel Messi's the best football player of all time. Cristiano Ronaldo, what are you talking about? Maradona and Pele are the best fighters of all time. Everyone has their own era. Yeah. That's my personal opinion. I think for adjustments, Floyd Mayweather is the best fighter of all time. Yeah. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I'm going to get
the best technical. Absolutely. The best technical. Yeah, the best technical. Doesn't get hit.
Excitement is different. Like if you're talking about who's the most exciting fighter of all time, some people say Mike Tyson. Yeah. But I don't put Mike Tyson in the top 10 heavyweights of all time.
I feel like you're me. We won't get into this.
No, I won't because I'm going to get annihilated. But that's just my opinion.
The most aggressive, I can say, but not with the best. Yeah.
I love Mike Tyson of all time, but people say, "Oh, he's above Lennox." Are you stupid? It's not. This is my opinion.
But Tyson will beat every heavyweight in this area that we are now for sure.
Yeah.
It's subjective.
No. This area.
Lennox Lewis.
I agree.
Lennox Lewis.
Think about
the best heavyweight I've ever seen in my life.
Think Lennox Lewis.
Division, it's not as
I disagree with certain bits, but I agree with certain bits as well. So I feel like nowadays at heavyweight there are just giants. I feel like Tyson would struggle.
Exactly.
They're huge. It depends because some people say this is a weak era of heavyweights. There's a lot of heavyweights here, but who are actually great. Like Tyson Fury, if you look at his last performance, Tyson Fury's put himself amongst the greats in my opinion. Yeah. I think because if you look at Tyson, he just looks like a chubby man that goes to the pub and eats peanuts and drinks beer. But I've watched Tyson when I was younger and I've seen him do things in the gym that I've never seen any heavyweight do. Yeah. He's an in-ring genius, Tyson Fury. He really is. Like he's special. And I still think he's got another few performances left in him which is going to take him even higher into even bigger heights. Yeah. But I think all the heavyweights are kind of here and then you've got Tyson Fury up there on his own. That's just my honest opinion. And I've just signed a new heavyweight and I've got
because Tyson Fury is strong here, he's different. He have different mindset and this make him special, because you can see many guys perform good in sparrings or in camp, but when the time comes that you must perform in front of the people, they stuck, and the Tyson, I think he's strong mentally, he loves to fight and that's why he's special.
Just
Go on.
Just a word. I'm just thinking about the show coming up. I want to just before we wrap up, just talk about November the 10th. It's going to be on BT Sport. It's our first show actually on ITV as well. So it's going to be simulcast on ITV4 and BT Sport. It's a first chance really for Freeview television. I won't say this. BT Sport's a great channel, but it's a small channel when you're talking about casuals, when you're talking about bigger audiences. This is the first time on Freeview. This is where a big audience of casual fans is going to get to see you. How are you feeling? Obviously, you've been out the ring for a long time.
I feel great. Can't wait to step back in the ring because I had, with all this virus, thing. I think the world changed. We see the world different. But I was talking yesterday with my wife, and I was saying to them, I don't care if they lock down everything. I hope they doesn't stop the fights. Because this is what I do, and I'm very happy that I will step in the ring and to show what I am about.
This is like Florian's. Is it your third show with us or fourth?
Third show with Ultimate. Yes.
Yeah. So no, it's good, and he's a great addition with the show, and we hope. And we've spoken to Adam and Sam about it, but as our promotional company grows, as our TV broadcasters grow, we're almost spearheading it with you. We've had you on every show, and you bring a huge crowd. So fingers crossed, November 10th goes well, and then next year we get the fans back, and we really put in some big performances and big fights.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exciting times ahead. Well, guys, thank you for coming on Mouthpiece. It's been an honor. I feel like we've covered absolutely everything.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again soon.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.